Once upon a time, in a Nigerian village surrounded by thick forests and rolling hills, there was a grand palace with high walls. Inside these walls lived King Adeola, who was kind but often lonely. The villagers adored him, but he had no friends his age. His days were filled with meetings and decisions, and he hardly ever smiled. Within the palace grounds was a special place that few people knew about. A hidden garden. It was filled with tall palm trees, colourful flowers, and a small stream that whispered softly as it flowed. This garden was King Adeola's secret. He would go there whenever he needed to escape from the heavy crown on his head and the many rules he had to follow. One day, a young palace maid named Amara was cleaning near the garden when she heard the sound of the stream. Curious, she followed the sound through a small archway hidden behind some vines. Amara stepped into the garden and gasped at its beauty. She felt like she had entered a different world, a peaceful one far from the noise and duties of the palace. Amara was careful not to make any noise. She did not know this was the king's secret place. She walked around, admiring the flowers and trees, until she found a small bench. She sat down and began humming a tune her mother used to sing to her. The melody drifted through the garden, blending with the birds' songs and the rustle of the leaves. Unknown to Amara, King Adeola was also in the garden that day, sitting behind a large bush. He was startled when he heard her humming. At first, he was upset that someone had found his secret place. But as he listened to Amara's gentle humming, he felt a warmth in his heart. It had been a long time since he felt anything so peaceful. He decided to stay hidden and listen to her for a little longer. And so, from that day on, Amara would visit the garden whenever she could. She would hum and sing softly, while King Adeola would secretly listen, feeling his loneliness slowly melt away. Days turned into weeks, and Amara continued her visits to the hidden garden. Each time she came, she would bring something new. A small flower she had picked, a pebble that caught her eye, or a feather that had fallen from a bird. She placed them on the bench, like tiny gifts to the garden itself. She still did not know that King Adeola watched her every move from his hiding spot behind the bushes. One day, Amara found a patch of earth that was bare. She thought it would be nice to plant something there, so she brought some seeds from the palace kitchen. She knelt down and began to dig with her hands. As she worked, she sang a song about the rain and the sun helping things grow. King Adeola, still hidden, watched her with great interest. He had never seen anyone care as much about the garden as she did. A few days later, Amara returned to the garden and was surprised to find a small watering can next to her patch of earth. She smiled, thinking the garden itself had given her a gift. She used the watering can to water the seeds she had planted. Each day, she returned to water them and sing her songs. King Adeola began to feel a strong friendship growing in his heart for Amara, even though they had never spoken. He decided it was time to reveal himself. One morning, as Amara was watering the plants, the king stepped out from his hiding place. Amara gasped and quickly bowed, her face turning red with embarrassment. "Please do not be afraid," King Adeola said gently. "I have been watching you take care of this garden, and I am grateful for your kindness." Amara looked up, her eyes wide with surprise. "Your Majesty, I didn't know this was your garden. I'm so sorry if I intruded." The king smiled. "There's no need to apologize. In fact, I'm happy you found this place. It has been my secret for many years. But it is much better with you here." From that day on, King Adeola and Amara met in the garden openly. They would talk for hours, sharing stories of their childhood and dreams for the future. The king told Amara about his duties and how sometimes he wished he could be free like the birds in the trees. Amara shared her wish to learn more about plants and become a healer like her grandmother. And so, the garden became a place of friendship, where the king and the maid could forget their roles and simply be themselves.